Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome for the class. We'll just immediately start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome for the class, and sorry that I was calling everybody. So that because these are the very important chapters where it will help us advance in spiritual life, and that's why I was very keen for calling everybody for attending these classes. Okay, so we are in chapter 10 and 12, and these chapter 10 and 12 will discuss about the 5 potent forms of bhakti. So we had completed till 59, if you'll remember last time. And then there are 64 angas of bhakti. So the remaining 5 we'll be discussing today. So the first is residing in Mathura Mandale Sthita, worshipping the deity Srimurtera Angri Sevane Prati, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and serving a devotee. So these are the 5 potent forms of bhakti. Now Srila Prabhupada says that these practices are so potent that even a small attachment for any of these 5 items can arouse devotional ecstasy in a neophyte. Any means out of these 5, if somebody has this attachment of residing in Mathura, worshipping the deity, or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting, or serving the devotees in Mathura Vrindavan, then that is really immediately potent enough. Or if somebody is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, whichever part of the world he is in, and he is completely, attached to the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing daily, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, still he can, uh, arise, or can have Bhava Bhakti, or devotional ecstasy can arise in him. So, devotional ecstasy refers to Bhava Bhakti. Neophyte in this context refers to one with weak attachment. Thus, a neophyte with weak attachment to Krishna can quickly achieve Bhava Bhakti by practicing any of these 5 most potent items. See, if we remember ourselves, right? So, we were not attached to any of these. We didn't even know what is Shri Murti Rangriv Sevane or Archa Vigraha Seva. Or we didn't know what is even serving a devotee or chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But as soon as we started going to the temple, meeting the devotees, doing some menial services, or offering some flower to the deity, or bringing some gifts for the deity, or cooking for the deity, immediately we had so many weak attachments, right? We had attachments to material things. We did not have attachment to worshipping the deity or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But as soon as we came to the temple, all these 5 we are still practicing. And this thing that even somebody has a weak attachment. Weak attachment to Krishna means not a very strong attachment to Krishna, that, oh, Krishna is all in all for me and my existence is only for him. That is strong attachment. Or my existence is only to please Krishna. I don't want to please anyone other than Krishna. So then that is called strong attachment. So somebody even with weak attachment also, can achieve Bhav Bhakti by practicing any of these five potent items. Any one, okay? Not all five, but if you see the beauty of these five potent forms, if you start with any one of this, the other four automatically will follow. Like I told, somebody who's residing in Mathura, what will he do? He's not going to eat, sleep, or defend. He's going to definitely hear the Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. He's going to chant in the association of devotees. He's going to do some menial services for the sadhus over there in, Vrindavan or Mathura. And he's going to definitely worship the deity. See, worshipping the deity does not mean that entering the altar and worshipping. Worshipping the deity can also mean that you can offer flowers, you can bring fruits to the Lord, you can help in, back end sevas for the Lord. Like sometimes they need devotees who are regular and can arrange and organize the closet of the Lord or the jewelry section of the Lord, or wash pots or wash the vessels which the Lord has had, prasadam in that, those silver plates or silver glasses, washing those vessels also. So worshipping the deity does not only mean offering arti or deity dressing, it can be even back-end services also, which are very much required. So any of these he can do. Or if he's only hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, let's say, so he's interested in hearing Bhagavatam. So definitely when we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, definitely we will feel like chanting. And Bhagavatam says a lot about serving devotees, worshipping the deity, residing in Mathura. We will have that inclination, like once in a year or twice in a year, we try to go to these holy places of Mathura, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Dwarka. Recently, we had been to Udupi. So, going to these holy places also will help us to remember the Lord, okay, and invoke our Bhava Bhakti. So, any of these, any one somebody catches, all the other four will automatically follow for him. Srila Prabhupada used these five most potent items as pillars on which he built the basic spiritual program of ISKCON. So, if you see the morning program, in the morning program, we are at least out of these 64 potent forms, 64 angas of bhakti, we are following 42 angas of bhakti. Any one of these items can quickly arouse bhava bhakti even in a neophyte. However, these powerful items will not best out their effects as long as one commit offenses. So there is a caution given to us that if we are committing any offenses, then they're not going to best out their effects. Imagine that I am residing in Mathura and I am offending the Mathura Vasis over there, or Vrindavan Vasis over here, the Dham Vasis over there. I have seen many devotees that they sold their houses and everything and they started residing in Mathura. But because they were very offensive, and because they were very offensive, Srimati Radharani does not allow, offensive people to reside. So eventually they, moved out of Vrindavan and back to their own cities. So with offenses, we cannot reside in, the Dham. Thus, a devotee who wants to make rapid advancement should focus on these five potent items and diligently avoid offenses, especially offenses to the Vaishnavas. The offenses to the Vaishnavas will block that kripa from coming towards us, the mercy towards us. So, five potent forms of devotional service and examples of how each item invokes Bhava Bhakti. Now, let's discuss this in detail. So, we're starting Sri Murtera, attachment of serving the lotus feet of the deity. So, serving the lotus feet of the deity, I told, that does not mean that it's only, deity dressing. It can be other services also. So, Srila Rupa Goswami has, composing a particular metaphor. If you see in your textbooks, Nectar of Devotion, he's saying that he's actually illustrating the very special efficacy of deity worship. He's saying that, my dear friend, if you still have any desire to enjoy the company of your friends within this material world, then don't look upon the form of Krishna, who is standing on the bank of Kesi Ghat. He's known as Govinda, and his eyes are very enchanting. He's playing upon his flute, and on his head there is a peacock feather, and his whole body is illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. So sometimes, when we tell people that, don't do this, then people say, "नहीं, अब तो मैं करके ही दिखाऊंगा." So this is like playing with the mind, or invoking somebody for doing certain things. If, like, for example, the mother tells the child, don't do this, there is danger over there. The child will say, no, no, let me go and see what danger it is. And he puts his hand in that switch plug, and then, he gets an electric shock. So he understands, oh, what my mother was telling was right. So sometimes mothers have to say, so Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, who is actually the mother of devotional service, or you can say we all are Rupanugas, we are following in the footsteps of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. He is saying that don't go over there. Don't go on Kesi Ghat. Krishna is standing over there. He has a whole, and even if you look at, even if you're seeing at him, then, don't look at his yellow dhoti. Don't look, even if you're looking at his yellow dhoti, don't look at his eyes. His eyes are so enchanting. He's going to capture you. Don't look at his smile. He's going to, again mesmerize you with his smile, and you'll be sold. And then once you are mesmerized with his black magic, actually it's not black magic, it is actually pure magic. But once you are mesmerized with that magic of Krishna, you won't feel like coming back to Delhi, or you won't feel like coming back to Bombay or Bangalore or wherever you are, right, at that place. So if you're attached to your family and friends and all, don't come to Kesi Ghat. He's standing over there. So these like metaphors, ulta metaphor जो है, Śrīla Rūpa Goswami is actually telling us. The first time when I heard this metaphor, I was thinking, oh, why is Rupa Goswami saying this? Actually, he should be like, go, have darshan of the Lord. He's standing over there. But then, after a few years, I realized that this is for those people who have not yet developed that attachment for Krishna. Of course, that time even I had not developed so much attachment for Krishna, but at least I was inclined towards that particular path. So this was very nice metaphor, which even in those days I liked, and in so many of my lectures, I used to always put this metaphor at that time. This type of poetic metaphor condemns what it seems to praise and praise what it seems to condemn. Thus, it instructs one to see the beautiful deity of Govinda in Vrindavan and therefore become completely indifferent to the attractions of the material world. Complete indifference is one of the 9 symptoms of Bhava Bhakti, namely Virakti. Śrīla Rūpa Goswami thus shows that seeing the deity, especially the Govinda form, can quickly evoke devotional ecstasy, bhav in a neophyte devotee. See, even if you all look back in your own lives, when you all had come for the first time in ISKCON, you all saw, Krishna standing in the Tribhanga form. Immediately, there was attraction for the Lord, and immediately, wow, this is so nice, right? It's such a wonderful world, and there's kirtan going on, and the Lord is looking so beautiful. The garments that the Lord are wearing is so beautiful. Definitely some devotional ecstasy, which is, you can say that it's just a ray of light that got invoked into your hearts, and then slowly, you all came into devotional service and entered devotional service. Then relishing Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. See, when Prabhupada says, if you see in this, there's that Prabhupada uses 5 most potent items as pillars on which he built the basic spiritual program of ISKCON. And if you see, Srimad Bhagavatam, every day we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock or 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock also. And this is so potent. that in the association only we can understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. Alone, if we try to study, it is very difficult for us to understand. Only with pure devotees, experienced devotees, we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Then for Srimad Bhagavatam, Śrīla Rupa Goswami is composing a similar metaphor. He's calling a friend foolish of having heard the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and thereby becoming completely indifferent to the wonderful and delightful activities of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. He thus poetically instructs us to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So he's telling, Are tum kitne murkh vyakti ho? How foolish you are that, you know, you have inclination toward dharma, artha, kama, moksha. See, Srila Vyasdev, no, when initially he had composed many Puranas and Upanishads and all, and he had composed them based on dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. He had not mentioned about pure devotional service, and that is why he was despondent. He was not very happy. He was sad, and he was sitting on the bank of the Saraswati. He was very, very sad. And on that scene, if you see Canto 1 May, Srila Narad Muni appears in 4th chapter of the first canto. And Srila Narad Muni is instructing him. Narad Muni is Narad Muni is guru of Srila Vyasadeva. So the guru knows what are the what do you say, the defects of the disciples' works or the sevas that he has done. And the guru can point out the defects. So he's saying that Srila Narad Muni is telling Vyasdev that see what is the defect in whatever you've written till now is that you have written only about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma, artha means you've written means see somebody is thinking I will do dharma or some religious activity only for artha. Artha means wealth. So your writings have only been up to the level that you do this dharma, you will get artha. You do this dharma, you get artha. And when you do this artha, then you do more kama. Kama means, those activities which will arouse a greed in you for doing more dharma and artha. And then thinking that, okay, this dharma will give me moksha also. So everything is circled around dharma. Okay, मैं धर्म करूंगा तो मुझे अर्थ मिलेगा. I'll get wealth. Then once if I get wealth, then I will do more, more activities which are lustful, which are desiring that I want this, I want this. See, kama means what? These Kama means lustful desires. Lustful desires for sense objects or for sex objects or for gaining more. The greed for gaining more is kama. Uh, Generally, kama people think is only for sex desires. But no, kama is for acquiring more of sense objects which are going to take you away from Krishna. And these sense objects, they are not permanent. These sense objects keep on coming and going. But who is permanent? Permanent is Krishna. And when we run behind the permanent, and we become permanent. Of course, we are permanent, but we've forgotten that we are permanent. So the more the people run behind these sense objects, they forget their original constitutional position. So dharma artha, and they're thinking that okay, dharma is going to give me moksha, but it's not going to give you moksha. It is going to put you into the cycle of repeated birth and death. And thus poetically instructs us to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Now somebody might ask कि अच्छा श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ के क्या मिलने वाला है? So the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam have been given, So one of the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is in the 7th chapter of the first canto. I think it's the 7th shloka only. It says that Yasya Vaishunamayanam Krishna Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpadate Pumsa Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. So he's saying somebody who's reading Bhagavatam will have attraction towards Krishna Paramapurushe, that supreme person who is called Krishna, Purushe, Purush. पुरुषों में भी, उत्तम, पुरुषे, and purush, purusham and purushe, then, it is like the superlative degree. So he will have attraction for Krishna. And once somebody will have attraction for Krishna, then what will happen? Shoka moha bhayapaha. He will be free from shoka, that is lamentation, shoka moha, that is anxiety, illusion, and bhaya, fear. These three things से उसको मुक्ति मिल जाएगी. He will never fear, oh, what will happen about my future. He will never have anxiety. Okay, now what? What will happen? What will happen to my family? What will happen to me? No, he will never be in anxiety. And he will never be in a lamentation also. Oh, I lost, this business, and I lost that, and I lost this person, and I lost that person. He will not have that lamentation of many things that he has lost. Generally, see, we have three tenses, right? Past tense, present tense, and future tense. Generally, we are dwelling either in the past tense or in the future tense and not in the present. We don't live in the present tense. We keep on nagging about the past or, anticipating about the future. अब क्या होगा? ये मैंने ऐसे कर दिया. अब क्या होगा आगे? अब क्या होगा आगे? Or in the past, oh, she did this to me or he did that to me, and, they did, this to our family, and that is why we are like this right now. So we keep on cribbing about the past, but we fail to live in the present tense, that the present is so beautiful. And that is why if you see in the spiritual world also, that there is no past tense and there is no future tense. There is only present tense over there. There is only present moment over there. And that is why, because there is present moment, everybody is very happy. In that present moment, the devotees of Krishna, the gopis, the gopas, the Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the animals, the creatures, the birds, the trees, the mountains, the rivers, everybody wants to please Krishna. Because, of course, over there, everything has got consciousness. Even the rivers have got consciousness, the mountains have got consciousness, the stones, the Raj, everything is conscious over there. And everybody is trying to please only one person, and that is Krishna. And that is why they are all the time happy over there. And let's go to the next. Okay, associating with advanced devotee of similar heart. So, Srila Rupa Goswami himself says, no, that Sajatiya Snigdha Satovare Rasikaha. So he says that people should associate with Sajatiya, those who want to please Krishna. So Sajatiya means same type of people. And Satovare means what? Those who are advanced in us. Like, for example, a 10th standard student can teach a first grade student very easily. So with advanced devotees. And Snigdha, those who are very affectionate, affectionate to the living entities, like to the devotees, especially. And Sajatiya, Snigdha, Satovare, and Rasika Saha, those who are Rasika devotees also. Rasika means what? They are, they relish Srimad Bhagavatam, or they relish Bhakti, and they help others also to relish Bhakti. वो खुद भी उसका आस्वादन कर रहे हैं, they are relishing it, and दूसरों को भी आस्वादन करवा रहे हैं. So that is called a Rasika Bhakta. And we have many Rasika Bhakta. Like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a Rasik. He relishes Srimad Bhagavatam, and he has helped us also relish the Srimad Bhagavatam. That way. So associating with advanced devotees of similar heart, who are Sajatiya. So Srila Prabhupada says that as soon as one is fortunate to contact a pure devotee, one must be anxious immediately to hear. One who associates with advanced devotees will quickly become enriched with symptoms of devotional ecstasy, such as samokantha, intense eagerness, or executing service without a moment wasted. Since seeing him, I cannot remain silent at home. I wish to go out to him always. No, there is an eagerness. For example, when our spiritual masters are supposed to come, immediately we are eager. Or an advanced devotee, like last time his Lakshminarayan Prabhu was telling me that we have Gaurang Prabhu coming. So then he was asking me that can we just skip today's class? I said yes, you can hear the recording, but taking personal association of such advanced devotee is so very important, and that eagerness is there to hear such advanced devotees. Is simply seeing a devotee can bestow darshane pavitra kari ei tomaro gun. If simply seeing a devotee can bestow such realizations, certainly one will rapidly achieve genuine ecstatic devotion by actually serving a devotee. So see, serving a devotee means actually you are hearing that devotee, right? And when you're hearing that devotee, it's actually serving only physically. Then later on, like, you can make cook for him, you can drive him, you can help him book his flight tickets or train tickets. That is, some menial services that you do. But the main service is to hear, that pure devotee that way. And then chanting the holy names of the Lord, dancing. So there are chanting is two types. We know that one is on Sankirtan and one is on Japa, private Japa. It is said that, just a sec, okay, give me a minute. Where did we skip? Ah. It is said that saints have been able to hear the vibrating strings of the veena in the hands of Narada, who's always singing the glories of Lord Krishna. Now, this same sound vibration has entered my ears, and I'm feeling the presence of the Supreme Personality. Gradually, I'm becoming bereft of all attachment for material enjoyment. So, see that the pure devotees, they can hear the vibrating strings of the veena, which is in the hands of Narad Muni. And Srila Narad Muni, we know that he's a Shaktavesh avatar. He can move anywhere in the universe, in any universe, in fact, in any of the cosmic universes, he can move. And what is Srila Narad Muni doing? Srila Narad Muni is singing the glories of Krishna all throughout the day. Now that same Veena ka sound vibration is entering my ears. And because that same sound vibration is entering my ears, then I feel the presence of Krishna. And when it is entering my ears, and when we feel the presence of Krishna, there are two things happening. One is uh, um, I'm becoming bereft of the attachment for this material enjoyment, and I'm getting more closer to Krishna. So there is one do, and then there is one don't do. The sound being heard in this verse is Narada's singing the glories of Lord Krishna accompanied by the vibrating strings of the Veena. Hearing Narada's Kirtan causes one to become bereft of all attachment for material enjoyment. This complete detachment is a symptom of bhava, virakti. Srila Rupa Goswami thus shows that Kirtan can immediately evoke devotional ecstasy even in a neophyte. See, we have this Kirtan, since I stay near the temple. So the temple has removed one rule from many, many years, that morning 7 o'clock they move out for Sankirtan from 7 o'clock to 7:30, because 7:30 Darshanarti open, the darshan for the Lord opens in that Darshanarti. So that for that half an hour in this particular area, these devotees, sometimes the number is 10, sometimes it's 20, sometimes Saturday, Sundays it's more because non-working people, working people also join in, and they do Sankirtan. And and if it is Radhesham Prabhu or any sannyasi, then though it is like in hundreds. The whole procession only moves out. So why is this being done? Is that for this reason only? That Kirtan can immediately invoke devotional ecstasy even in those who are not inclined. But as soon as the powerful words enter the ear holes of the people who are not inclined towards devotional service, they immediately become inclined, immediately devotional ecstasy will invoke in them. And that is why we have so many Harinams and Prabhat fairies and so many other things for invoking devotional ecstasy in neophytes. And then residing in Mathura. So what is Srila Rupa Goswami telling? He is describing the beauty of Sri Vrindavan Dham decorated with the Yamuna, that is the river, Kadamba trees, chirping birds, and the beautiful form of Shyam Sundar. Simply remembering this beauty invokes bhav. I remember the Lord standing on the bank of the Yamuna river, so beautiful among the Kadamba trees. If somebody has seen the Kadamba trees, the flowers, they're like round gold laddu flowers and they're yellow in color. Initially, they are green and then they turn to yellow. So they are like laddu flowers like that, round ones. And so many birds are chirping, the parrots and the peacocks and the cuckoos and so many other different colorful birds, they are, chirping in the gardens. And these impressions are always giving me transcendental realization of beauty and bliss. Imagine a nice green, lush green, place where there are trees and there is a river, and Krishna is standing on the bank of that river under a tree. He's playing the flute, and the birds are very happy and, surrounding Krishna. You must have seen, this in that little Krishna. All the birds, they come around Krishna. So, such a beautiful and blissful atmosphere. According to Jiva Goswami, transcendental realizations of beauty and bliss indicates mental realization of one's eternal serving mode, Swarupa Siddhi. So, see, Mansi Kambhi Bhavan Kanana Shri Stanoti. Okay. So, if I'm having these beautiful transcendental realizations of Krishna's beauty and I'm getting the bliss, then it is a mental realization that, okay, I belong to Krishna and I am the servant of Krishna. So, mera Swarupa Siddhi, my original Swarupa, or the form in the spiritual world is what? Is actually service to the Lord. I am the servant of the Supreme Lord, which occurs during the stage of Bhava Bhakti. We'll come to Bhava Bhakti very soon. Srila Rupa Goswami thus shows that simply remembering Vrindavan can quickly evoke devotional ecstasy, bhava, even in a neophyte. Prabhupada says such transcendental feelings are aroused immediately and without failure one arrives in Mathura or Vrindavan. So, if I am in USA, if I am in London, if I am in, Bangalore, if I'm in Delhi, if I'm in Jaipur, anywhere, I can immediately through my mind reach Vrindavan. So Srila Rupa Goswami explains the result of these items are not overestimations. It's not exaggeration also. They are true in certain cases and are intended to describe the item's potential for evoking Bhava Bhakti when executed offenselessly. Sometimes these 64 activities are said to reward one with various worldly benedictions. But Srila Rupa Goswami explains that this is simply a way of attracting mundane people to devotional service. The actual result of these 64 activities is that they are going to bring you to Bhava Bhakti. सम मंडेन कुछ तो मिल जाएगा रिवॉर्ड की इसको थोड़ा पैसा ज्यादा मिल गया या समथिंग नेम फेम ज्यादा मिल गया बट नो द एक्चुअल रिजल्ट इज भाव भक्ति okay. What is the relation of the other practices to sadhana bhakti? So these are the 64 angas of bhakti. And somebody will say that, okay, what are the other practices like, varnashram dharma or jnana yoga, dhyana yoga or vairagya, So, when you say varnashram dharma or service executed with wealth and followers, cultivation of saintly qualities, so the remainder of chapter 13 answers the question concerning varnashram dharma, that is chapter 14 answers questions 2 and 4. So let's see this. Varnashram, not an integrated part of sadhana. If somebody is following the varnashram dharma, Varna and ashram. Varna means what? Whether I'm a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And ashram means brahmachari ashram, grahastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, and sannyas ashram. So it is a Varnashram is a system for regulated satisfaction of one's material desires. It is exactly that you have a license to do this, okay, but it is definitely going to bind you. It's not going to release you. Bhakti, on the other hand, is anya bilashita shunyam, complete free from personal desires. In Varnashram, we will still have material desires. Even if I am a Brahmana, I'll still have some desire. If I'm a Kshatriya, I'll still have some desire. If I'm a grihastha, brahmachari, I'll still have some desire. But when you say bhakti, then anya bilashita shunyam jnana karma anavritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Whatever Krishna says, we are ready to do that. Therefore, Varnashram is not a part of sadhana bhakti. Varnashram can support bhakti. A devotee who is not yet able to perform unallowed devotional service may utilize Varnashram to regulate and purify his distractive material desires and thus rise to the point of being attracted to unalloyed devotional service. Slowly, slowly he can rise. One should execute the prescribed duties of Varna and Ashram as long as he has not developed spontaneous attachment for hearing about my pastimes and activities, is what Krishna is suggesting. But see, when you say Varna Ashrama, है ना, he's at least Varna Ashram में ये हो जाता है कि you don't fall down more. Like in today's society, nobody is following any varna and nobody is following any ashrama. Okay, nobody is following this brahminical qualities or kshatriya qualities or vaishya qualities or shudra qualities. It's such a haphazard, thing. Ki a brahmana is, like behaving like a shudra also, or a shudra unqualified, he's trying to act like a brahmana, or a vaishya wants to act like a brahmana, like that. It's completely haphazard right now. Or when you say ashram, and nowadays there is no ashram only anywhere. Like the recent cases that you see that is happening, with murders and everything. What ashram does these things come into, right? So when you say brahmachari ashram is a total what you say. Total training given how to become a good grihastha. And when grihasthas keep Krishna in the center and they work, then slowly, slowly they move towards Vanaprastha ashram. And then when Krishna is in the center, detachment is so very easy. So by the time they come, by the time, they have their children grown and settled and everything, they are into their 50s and they are ready to, give up and move into the jungle. Of course, nowadays we don't have any jungles, but they can move into full-time devotees in the temple as such. Husband, wife, both can do that. And then sannyas, we know that sannyas is a state of mind. Sannyas means what? Detachment from all sense gratification and detachment from all sense objects which are going to take you away from Krishna, and that is called sannyas ashram. So nowadays, we don't have only these ashramas. We have gay ashrams and we have lesbian ashramas and we have living relationship ashramas. Who is getting into, these normal ashramas that are there, which are going to help us to regulate and purifying our material desires, right? So, that is why he is saying that Varnashram, although not an integral part of sadhana, can support cultivation of bhakti in its precursor stages, in the initial stages. So if somebody is like a grihastha, right? तो उसको regulation में लेके आते हैं वर्णाश्रम, क्योंकि you're a grihastha, you behave like a grihastha, you take good care of your family, and you remove some time for executing devotional service, chanting 16 round, reading Bhagavatam. No, this is helping actually uh, devotees to uh, advance in bhakti. Okay. So we finished with chapter 14 and 15. Give me just 1 minute. Okay, I'll just quickly come to chapter 16. Give me a sec, okay? I'm just trying to share. It's not chapter 3, it's chapter 16, but let me just immediately share with you all. So see, what about the other spiritual practices? Are they qualified to be called sadhana bhakti? So knowledge and renunciation, jnana and vairagya, service executed through wealth and followers and saintly qualities. We discussed about varnashram dharma, right? That time. So we're going to discuss about knowledge and renunciation. How are they going to, help us? So when we say Gyan, the qualities of Gyan and Vairagya are necessary for devotional advancement. See, if I'm going to gain knowledge, then only, I will have detachment. That, okay, I should be detached from material desires and worldly things and all these things. Without knowledge and detachment, one will be attached to material body and tend to act for the body, not for Krishna's pleasure. It will be sense gratification. It's only for me, and me. The whole bhava will be for only I and mine, and it will not be for Krishna's pleasure. So when you have a jnana, then only there will be vairagya. If you have knowledge, then only you have detachment. In jnana, one fixes the mind on uh, discriminating between matter and spirit and not on Krishna. So see, of course, Gyan and Vairagya are not for pure devotion, but they are helping towards. So, in somebody who is a Gyani, what is he doing? He is fixing this mind on uh, discriminating between matter and spirit. Okay, this is matter and this is spirit. But he's not fixing his mind on Krishna. And in Vairagya, one is fixing the mind uh, uh, in Vairagya, this mind fixes itself on the object. to be rejected, not on Krishna. So when I'm detached, so what I'm thinking that okay, कि इसको रिजेक्ट करना है, बट रिजेक्ट करके किसको एक्सेप्ट करना है, whom to accept, that vairagya is not telling. So in jnana, this person is only able to discriminate between matter and spirit, and he's not able to fix his mind. Okay, if I'm able to discriminate that okay, this is matter, jad and chetan, right? कि ये जड़ वस्तु है, मुझे इससे अटैच नहीं होना है, तो ठीक है, अगर इस जड़ वस्तु से अटैच नहीं होना है तो और दूसरी कौन सी चेतन वस्तु है जिससे आई विल बी अटैच्ड? व्हाट इज दैट कॉन्शियस लिविंग बीइंग विथ whom I will get attached to? And in vairagya, mind fixes itself on the object to be rejected, right? So mind is fixing that okay, I don't want this particular object, है ना? This is not going to help me. But okay, if it is not fixing the mind on that object, then the mind is fixing on what other object? तो सिर्फ नेति नेति, ये नहीं ये नहीं ये नहीं, लेकिन फिर क्या अंदर आएगा? कुछ बाहर अगर जाएगा, something goes out, you're rejecting something, you have to accept something also which is tangible. So they're not accepting Krishna. So that is the front. Knowledge and see, of course, knowledge and renunciation can support bhakti. So knowledge and renunciation can initially help a devotee withdraw his mind from the whirlpool of sense gratification. Now we will ourselves, if we see that how much sense gratification we used to do, right? Unnecessarily going to movies and unnecessarily going for some picnics, and where only there were mountains and some rivers were there. That is just sense gratification. Some gratification for our eyes or ears or a tongue. So, he's saying over here is that material sense gratification, sinful activity kills the propensity to serve Krishna. So, serving Krishna's senses, instead of serving his senses, what is happening? I am trying to serve my senses. But if I serve the senses of Krishna, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevaya Bhakti Ruchyate. If I'm serving the senses of the master or the master of the senses, then automatically my senses also get satisfied. It's exactly like watering the root of the tree, and automatically the branches and twigs, everybody is, nourished, or it is being supplied uh, the food that is required, right? In Kali Yuga, the demonic mentality is employed in manufacturing various consumer goods to facilitate the process of sense gratification. So many advertisements, so many billboards, and so much of media is there now to pump in that sense gratification. Means so many times they will keep on bombarding as if we cannot live without this, as if these objects or these products are a part of our existence, and if we don't have these products, we are good for nothing. If you don't have this, you're nothing, And I remember it all started with one television ad where they said that neighbors envy owners pride. What was that? Onida TV. So if you don't have a television, you know, the neighbors will envy. Oh, sorry. If you have a television, the neighbors will envy. And if you do, and if you have, you will be proudful. I mean, you will have pride that see, I have a television and you don't have a television. It was such a this, that time that ad, and after many many years, I realized that how much of bombarding that is happening in the television or the media industry with so many things. Every magazines, every billboard those days will have nowadays instant gratification. We have Swiggy, we have Zomato, we have Blinkit, we have Zepto. If I want immediately, if I want to eat, the other day, one of my friends, she was talking that at 11 o'clock, um, her son wanted to eat an ice cream. Immediately, Zepto, Blinkit, you know. 11 o'clock at night is the time to eat something, or is it the time to sleep? So this was so horrible, like this whirlpool. That is a whirlpool. Why? क्योंकि वो whirlpool, if you see ना, whirlpool आपको नीचे नीचे लेके जाता है. Whirlpool आपको ऊपर ऊपर नहीं लेके आता है. It's called whirlpool of sense gratification. In bhakti, of course, it can also harm and impede bhakti, but in bhakti, one pleases Lord by one's love for him. Like if you see this picture, and in Krishna Leela or Ramayana or Gaur Leela, if you see, everybody wants to serve the Lord or please the Lord. Everybody's aim of life is only to please Krishna. Any devotee you just you think of, that devotee's mood was that how can I please Krishna? How can I please Guru? How can I please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? How can I please, Lord Ram? So, expression of such love requires a soft heart, easily moved by emotions. So, the path of knowledge or renunciation, however, train one to develop a stoic heart, hard heartedness, unmoved by emotions, for emotions tend to push one into sense gratification. आपको जो है वो ज्ञान एंड वैराग्य क्या करता है ना, आपको ज्ञान आता है तो थोड़ा इमोशंस नहीं होते आपके लिए. If somebody is dying, we feel no, let me have vairagya, I'm unattached. But humanity says that if he's dying, I should give him some treatment. You take him to the doctor or give him some first aid treatment as such. बट इस ज्ञान एंड वैराग्य क्या करते हैं ना, ये हार्ड को हार्ड कर देते हैं. दी हार्ट डज नॉट सॉफ्टन एंड immediately some emotions are there, you easily move by those emotions. So it means easily move by emotions means what? That if there is a bombardment of advertisements, you easily get moved. Oh, you know what? This advertisement came and this product was there. I immediately should go and buy. Let me order on Amazon. See, even if somebody is watching YouTube, somebody is watching his Facebook, somebody is watching his Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, there are advertisements coming in. There is Amazon giving his ads, there is Flipkart giving his ads into those also, because they know that mostly people are on these apps as well. So then immediately person gets moved. Oh, this is the night. This मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए. Then what exactly happens is that actually it's not his need. It's just his want. See, what is the difference between need and want? Need means what? That you require it and you cannot live without it. Right? For example, water, food, clothing, and shelter. This is our needs. But then want is desire. जो नहीं चाहिए वो भी हम लोग लेके आते हैं. Or we purchase that also. So that distinguishing factor is absent. And then he gets carried away. अरे वाह ये प्रोडक्ट है, चलो चलो लेके आते हैं. So the path of knowledge or renunciation, however, train one to develop a stoic heart, unmoved by emotions, for emotions tend to push one into sense gratification. So now, how to obtain detachment without hardening the heart? Right? Somebody said that I want to be detached, but I don't want a hard heart. So, to execute pure devotion service, one must be free from material motives. Like, some people, they come to the temple thinking that, oh, if I worship Krishna, all my problems will go away. Of course, they will go away, but that's not the only thing. Like, they're like, oh, okay, all my sins will go away. If I this, then Krishna will give me this and Krishna will. Such freedom comes by attachment from the senses. So, when we selflessly try to serve the Lord, to please the Lord, then um, we will be free from material motives. Being free from material motives means only being having freedom, having that independence. And uh, when we are attached to our senses, because such freedom comes by detachment from the senses. Now, all the time, what we try to do is we want to provide something or the other to our senses, something to the eyes, something to the nose, something to the tongue, something to the ear, something to the skin. We want to keep on providing something. But the moment we take a vow that, see, my senses are meant to serve Krishna, and I'm going to use my senses only to serve Krishna. So then that's where we will be slowly detached from the senses demands. The difficulty is that Gyan and Vairagya, the path of achieving that detachment, is detrimental to pure service, for it hardens the heart. So this detachment achieve करने के लिए, this Gyan and Vairagya, you know, they are hardening the heart. They're not softening the heart. And this hard heart is detrimental to pure devotion, because pure devotional service means your heart has become completely soft, right? Um, and pure devotional service will give you automatically, see, भक्ति के दो पुत्र है, ज्ञान और वैराग्य, है ना? जैसे ही कोई भक्ति करने लगता है, as soon as somebody starts doing bhakti, automatically this jnana and vairagya, they follow you, right? And bhukti and mukti also will follow. Bhukti and mukti, in fact, they are standing on your door. They are joining their hand saying, ki please accept us. Bhukti is saying, please accept me, and mukti is saying. But the one who has become the devotee of Krishna, Bhukti and Mukti are standing on the door of that particular devotee. But the devotee has shut down that door for Bhukti and Mukti. The process of cultivating detachment without hardening the heart is Yukta Vairagya. So I'm using this laptop, right? But I'm still not attached to it. I'm using it for Krishna's service only. I'm using this to propagate the glories of the Lord, right? On a daily basis, we have different classes going on, right? So I'm not attached to this particular instrument. I am using this instrument to propagate, Krishna's glory. Therefore, there must be some means to cultivate detachment without undergoing the process of jnana vairagya. As explained in chapter 5, bhakti is completely independent and self-sufficient. There is no need to practice jnana and vairagya to achieve detachment, because detachment automatically follows devotion. If the heart is full of desires to serve Lord Krishna, there is no room for material desires, because all spiritual desires will crop up, right? If daily we are trying to say that, okay, I want to chant, I want to, offer cooked prasadam, I want to offer bhoga that is cooked by myself, I want to do deity dressing and whatever things are there that has to be done for the Supreme Lord, for His happiness. So then where there is room for material desire, there's no room for material desire. Everything you were desiring, you're desiring for Krishna himself. Right. Okay. So then this shloka arises that from first canto, second chapter. वासुदेव भगवती भक्ति योग प्रयुते जनदस्य tu vairagyam jnanam cha yad ahaitukam. Somebody who is, rendering bhakti yoga, who is rendering devotional service, to whom Vasudeva Bhagavati, to who is Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality, then Janayatyasu Vairagyam, immediately one acquires causeless knowledge and detachment. Jnanam cha yad ahetukim, and detachment from the world that way. So yukta vairagya, na anasakta vishayan yathartham apayunjitah nirbandha Krishna sambandhi yukta vairagyam uchyate. So somebody who is one without attachment, and to whom Vishayan. Vishayan means material sense objects. And Yadartham Upayunjita. So when he is engaging suitably, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. When he's engaging suitably, what? He's engaging everything in relationship to Krishna, Nirbandha, without any bondage. And that is called Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. That, you know, uh, Vairagyam is Uchyate. That is called highest Vairagya. Okay, that way. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. So, see, he is not attached. Say, for example, somebody, gets a piece of land, but he is not attached. Hai na? He is accepting, okay, I got this piece of land and let's build a temple on this piece of land. If he is getting some vehicle, he's saying, okay, let's utilize in Krishna's service propagating the holy names of the Lord. So he's accepting that car, he's accepting that land, but for whose pleasure? For Krishna's pleasure, to please Krishna. Via this particular vehicle or land, I am going to propagate the glories of the Supreme Lord. And that is why he says that everything belongs to Krishna and nothing belongs to me. What is that Upanishad, the first shloka? Uh, um, where it says that everything belongs to Krishna. It's nothing is belonging to me. And one should take only one's own quota and not above that one's own quota. So this is not possessiveness. We say that this whole world belongs to Krishna. He is the proprietor. He is the master. He is the Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. He is the Sarva Loka Maheshwaram also. He is the proprietor. And that is why everything should be utilized in his own service in that way. So in Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada used to travel by flight, and people used to criticize, or he had a big car. So people used to criticize, but Prabhupada said that I'm using this not for my own sense gratification. When I'm traveling from one country to the other country, it is helping me to save my time. I can reach faster to the people. And in 11 years, 14 times, he has revolved around the globe in different places, opening different centers, opening different temples, inaugurating so many other farm communities and so many other things. So Prabhupada was not very attached because he was above possessiveness. He knew everything belonged to Krishna and he was accepting everything in relation to Krishna. What is Falgu Vairagya? Let's see. So Falgu means what? Nakli Vairagya, hai na? So on the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. Like, the Gyanis, they say, neti, neti, ye nahi, ye nahi, ye nahi, ye nahi, ye nahi, ye nahi, I will not sit here. You see, even these Jain monks, they reject so many other things, like, they don't accept. So, फाल्गु मीन नकली वैराग्य. आपको पता ही नहीं कि ये हरि के संबंध में सब कुछ इस्तेमाल करना है. यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट एवरीथिंग in relation to Krishna, in relationship to Krishna. And this type of vairagya is an inferior vairagya. Falgu vairagya means जो निचले स्तर का वैराग्य है, which is artificial vairagya also, you can say that currently if you see on the television there is some unshan going on, I think in Delhi. Some dharna is going on in Delhi. Now in that particular place, that person who is fasting now, after every half an hour he is going to the washroom. Then he drinks something, he eats something, he eats some burger, he eats some samosa in the washroom, and he comes out. So what type of vairagya this is? You are sitting on a protest. A protest means in those times where freedom fighters used to protest. They used to protest in such a way they used to not drink even a drop of water. Even if There was so much of torture from the British soldiers or the British people. They used to not eat even a single morsel or a drop of water also. That is called a protest. And nowadays, protest has become such a cheap thing that they don't only know what is detachment. If you want the government to agree to your demands, then there has to be a proper protest. See, because it is Falgu Vairagya, you know, without any knowledge. That is why that protest, everybody is exposed in those protests. That's called Falgu Vairagya. And Yukta Vairagya. How does Prabhupada's mission reflect the principle of Yukta Vairagya? So just like we are utilizing everything, the building we are utilizing, the chandelier we are utilizing, we are using this microphone and using paper and press, we are using everything. But why? This is Prabhupada's, lecture. For Krishna, we are not engaged here for singing cinema songs or like that. No, we can utilize these instruments for singing the glory of Krishna. Therefore, we have taken advantage. Otherwise, but people, there are so-called tyagis, renunciates. Oh, these people are using material things. This man is taking material advantage. At the same time, he is condemning material advancement. We don't condemn. We simply teach people that utilize for Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. We don't condemn. We don't say that don't manufacture this microphone. Yes, microphone use, but use it for declaring glories of the Lord. Then it is fully utilized. That is our process of Krishna consciousness. Yukta Vairagya. Prabhupada is moving in big, big cars also is Yukta Vairagya. Palgoragya, Vairagya. We don't reject anything. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, uh, prapaschikatya buddhaya hari sambandhi vastutnaha. A thing which can be used for the service of Hari. Krishna, if it is given up as material, that vairagya, that renunciation is not very good. That renunciation, I have renounced everything, just like among the Jains. They will not ride on car, they will walk. So our principle is not like that. No, we shall not take advantage of the motor car or the aeroplane. These are all material. I shall walk. Why shall I walk if I would not have taken the advantage of the aeroplanes? How could I preach Krishna conscious all over the world so swiftly? We must take advantage, but for Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. We shall encourage people, but the thing is that we may not forget. If by material opulence we forget Krishna, then that is suicidal. Now, sometimes people get a lot of material facilities or opulences, and then they Krishna ko side mein rakh dete hai. Therefore, we have to be little careful. We may drive the Rolls Royce car, but may not identify with the car. I'm not BMW. Oh, now I have become Rolls Royce. You are a Chevrolet. I am Rolls Royce. Laughter. Don't become nonsense like that. अरे तुम ये कार हो मैं वो कार हो तुम मर्सिडीज हो मैं BMW हूँ like that. So you can take advantage of them and don't identify. They are identifying with the matter. That is the defect and that is called Maya. So we are identifying with that I am this iPhone and I am this laptop and I am Dell and I am HP and all that. Okay. So devotional renunciation. In Yukta Vairagya, the senses and emotions remain active. The heart does not harden. However, because these emotions and activities center exclusively on Krishna's service, they do not lead one into sense gratification. Thus, one does not fall into sense gratification. And devotee accepts for Lord's service because they are related to Krishna and not for personal sense gratification. Devotee only accepts what is sanctioned by Krishna and sanctified by Krishna. Thus, a devotee is never entangled. So, see, whatever temples we are building or whatever gadgets we have, right? Or somebody is entering into Grahastha ashram. So, Grahastha ashram is sanctioned by Krishna. And if we keep Krishna in the center and beget children, or we do our daily activities, then then Krishna sanctifies that grahastha ashram also. So Krishna has that potency to sanctify it. But everything should be sanctioned by Krishna means what? It should be there into the Shastras and Shastrikas. So I always say that my intelligence is Guru Sadhu Shastra. I don't have my own intelligence at all. I work only according to what Guru, Sadhu, and the Shastras say. Shastras means only Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion. One who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna is not complete in his renunciation. This is the Jain Sadhu. To reject something, to reject something one could use to please Lord Krishna is false renunciation, Falgu Vairage. It is this type of renunciation that can harm the bhakti. So, just by being, these Naga Babas, it's not going to help us. So, see. A sincere Yukta Vairagya. The first part of Yukta Vairagya is Anasaktasya, without personal attachment. One must be careful not to accept things that we desire in the name of accepting things for Lord Krishna's pleasure. So be careful not to accept things that we desire. So sometimes, somebody say, I want this particular car. इन द नेम ऑफ एक्सेप्टिंग, नहीं नहीं ये तो हम भगवान के लिए एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं, हम मतलब भक्तों को पीछे बिठाएंगे और मंदिर तक ले जाएंगे. बट when devotees call them that, tomorrow are you going for Mangla Aarti? Even I want to join you. They say, no, no, sorry, we have a function tomorrow. We are not going for Mangla Aarti. So what is the use then? For the Lord's pleasure, you have, in the name of Lord's pleasure, you have accepted, but you are not, facilitating the devotees. The best safeguard is the spiritual master. We should accept these instructions on what to accept and what to reject for Krishna's service. Because he is Lord Krishna's representative. We can check with our spiritual masters that what should be accepted and what should not be accepted. Like I remember, my mother, she used to trade in these shares. Share market. She used to trade actually. Of course, she was guided by one of our neighbors that time. He was very expert. So she said, Mrs. Shah, please, buy. Mrs. Shah, now please sell. And she heard something that share market is also gambling and all that. So she actually verified with my spiritual master that what should I do? I am doing, the share market, and whatever profit I get, it is nice. It is I'm utilizing in devotional service for my family members and all. And she said that, I got my two daughters married only on the basis of this, share market and everything. So Maharaj is saying, now your two daughters are married, right? Now what need you have? And share market means only anxiety. All the time your consciousness is on this A grade share and B grade share and buy and sell. So you're in an anxiety. You're in a fear. You're in lamentation if a particular share gets down. But as I told you that uh, when somebody is reading Srimad Bhagavatam or starts worshipping, then Krishna removes these lamentations. So why get into that? So what she did is she immediately sold all those shares. Next day she went and she said, I want to sell whatever is the rate. I don't care. And she sold all those shares and she fixed that amount in the bank. And she became relaxed. And then she told me her realization that I sold all the shares and I'm feeling so relaxed now. And till date, my mother or father, they don't have any anxiety for, money. They have in abundance only. Whatever are the requirements, they have 10 times more than what they, require. So, best is, we can consult our spiritual master in case something like that is happening with us and we have invested something in somewhere or something. The spiritual master can help us in this. But see the words of the spiritual master. When my spiritual master told her that it will help, it is going to create an anxiety for you, you know, and he gave her that freedom also. Do whatever you want, but this is what is going to happen with you. Instead of focusing your consciousness fully on Krishna, the holy name, and it's like chanting, okay, this share has gone down and that share has gone down. Of course, she should not trade on a daily basis, but she used to trade. So all the time she was then, okay, today what will be the rate? Tomorrow what will be the rate? This fell down and that fell down. So that's how, she got free from her anxiety by consulting the spiritual master. We should not manufacture our own opinion of what Krishna wants, for it will be largely based on our own desires, consciousness, or subconsciousness. Whatever is written into the Shastras, Krishna has given his own opinion. Into the Bhagavad Gita, into the Srimad Bhagavatam, he has instructed Yudhishthir Maharaj also, he has instructed Arjuna also, he has instructed many other devotees also through the Bhagavatam. Right, so we will we will consult the Shastras, we'll consult a spiritual master. But it's not that because I want to gratify my these senses, so I will do these things. Not that way, okay? Okay. Service executed through wealth and followers. This is not one's own practice of devotional service. Service done by followers. A spiritual master may train disciples to worship the deity and do other types of devotional service. This is certainly his devotional service. However, the worship they subsequently perform is their own devotional service, not his. If he does not understand this, he may completely assume that he is already doing so much through his followers and thus become complacent in devotional advancement. See, for example, a particular spiritual master has n number of followers, I mean, many followers. So he says, okay, my followers are doing it on my behalf. What is the need for me to chant? What is the need for me to preach? If you see His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he is chanting till date also. He is in a very severe condition right now also. And he is chanting also, and he is doing book distribution also, and he's inspiring also his followers. Right? Whenever he goes for dialysis, if you see, he's giving a book and he is preaching, he's trying to make devotees, whether he's in the hospital, whether he's on a flight, he is still following all the rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti. And he's still trying to serve the Lord even in that condition. So at least we are not in that condition, right? We are not on a wheelchair. We are still in a very better condition, right? Of course, that does not mean that we are superior to Maharaj. Maharaj is on a very transcendental platform and we cannot copy him, but following in his footsteps, So the spiritual master is training us through his own personal example that if I can do it, you all can also do it, So that is his devotional service, that he is inspiring his devotees or training his, disciples. And the disciples, when they're worshipping the supreme, the spiritual master, then that is their devotional service towards the spiritual master or to Krishna. It is not his worship. So if the disciple is chanting 64 rounds, that does not mean the spiritual master has chanted 64 rounds. Both are individual entities and both are practicing their own practices as such. And even if the spiritual master is chanting 16 rounds and the disciple is chanting 6, that does not mean or that does not make that particular disciple superior to his spiritual master. That is also there. That also is to be taken care. Sometimes the disciples think themselves, Hindi में हम लोग बोलते डेढ़ शाणे. They think themselves to be too smart than the spiritual master. Oh, my spiritual master is chanting only 16 rounds and I'm chanting 64 rounds. That smartness we should not show in front of the spiritual master. If you show such smartness, If you show, I have seen so many such Dedshanis, or you can say smart people who are right now out of bhakti, who wanted to outsmart their spiritual master, thinking that we can stand on the head of the spiritual master and excel him also. They all are out today. They are nowhere in bhakti also today. They're not even chanting a single round today. So, when in the last paragraph over here is saying that if the spiritual master does not understand this, he may completely assume that he is already doing so much through his followers and thus become complacent in devotional advancement. So sometimes even counselors, they think, oh, my counselees are doing no book distribution. What is the need for me to do book distribution? Right? They are doing only, no? Or the counselees are thinking that my counselor is already doing so much. What is the need for me to do? So vice versa, that way. Okay, so that should not be there. Service done by one. Similarly, a wealthy person may give a large donation to fund a huge temple of Krishna conscious project. That donation itself is in his devotional service. वो अपनी खुद की भक्ति कर रहा है. The service subsequently carried out therein is not his sadhana. ऐसा नहीं है कि आई एम गिविंग 1 crore to build a temple and I escape from chanting 16 rounds or perform deity worship or read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nah. That is a wrong thing. Ki by giving wealth, everything will be taken care of. No. If it is the sadhana of those devotees who actually execute the service, right? So, ऐसा नहीं है कि my counsel has given so much of wealth. 1 crore now finish, now bas naam, mera naam ho gaya ki okay, this counselor, counselees, they all are going on building temples. नहीं, वो particular counselee की ये है कि he is giving his wealth, and that counselee also should not think okay, now by giving wealth I'll escape chanting 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles and I can do whatever nonsense I want. No, not that way. Okay. Without understanding this, one can become complacent in bhakti because कलयुगा is full of lazies and crazies, so complacent होने की बहुत संभावनाएं है ही. Cultivation of give me a minute, okay, can't see this. Saintly qualities. What about cultivation of saintly qualities like ahimsa, brahmacharya, satyam? Is it also part of sadhana bhakti? Saintly qualities are not practices of pure devotional service. Although they may put one in more advantaged position for appreciating God, such saintly qualities do not directly cause remembrance of Krishna. Therefore, they are not practices of pure devotional service or sadhana bhakti. Somebody might be very, non-violent person, or somebody is practicing brahmacharya, or somebody is practicing truthfulness, but they are not part of. They are not. This is also a part of sadhana bhakti, but they are not part of pure devotional service. It's not going to get you to be the part of that way. Saintly qualities automatically arise in a devotee. It is a byproduct. All these, Gyan, Vairagya, saintly qualities, detachment, everything, is a byproduct of actually pure devotional service. Anybody who becomes a devotee, automatically these qualities. Saintly qualities do not automatically generate love for Krishna. Love of Krishna does not generate saintly qualities. For example, vegetarians are not automatically devotees, but devotees are automatically vegetarians. Vegetarian is a part of ahimsa. Monkey is also vegetarian. Does that mean that he is becoming a devotee? So, see this Mrigari, he turned into perfect devotee by, chanting the holy names of the Lord. The hunter turned into a perfect devotee in a Shastric example of saintly qualities automatically developing in a devotee. As soon as he started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, immediately all these saintly qualities they developed in him. In the sense that to such an extent that when Narad Muni and Parvat Muni, they both wanted to visit Mrigari. So they sent a message that we have come over here. And Mrigari running comes. But while he's running, he saw some ants. And when he sees those ants, he's jumping, a zigzag, and he's coming towards Narad Muni and Parvat Muni. So Parvat Muni is actually asking Narad Muni that, hey, why is he jumping? So he's saying that he has become so pure that he does not want to hurt even an ant on the walking on the road. That is the, highest state that he has. So this is the saintly quality of Mrigari. At one point of time, he was hurting, or he was killing animals. And now he does not want to even hurt an ant. So automatically, when one starts chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he develops all these qualities. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay. So the 9 basic types of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. The 64 ways to practice pure devotional service are expansions from the 9 basic types of service, devotional service. So if you say that one can achieve ecstatic love by executing all the 9 practices or by just one of the 9. Like Parikshit Maharaj perfected by just hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukdev Maharaj perfected by, speaking the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj by remembering Lord Nrsimha. Akrura by praying, prayers are so powerful. Worshipping Lord's lotus feet, Lakshmi ji. See, worshipping Lord's lotus feet means only what? That serving the mission of the Lord. Okay. Prithu Maharaj through deity worship. Like if you see His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj also. We saw that one video, where Maharaj in his sleep also is doing arti to the Lord. Then service attitude, Lord Hanuman, Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, Arjuna, Bali Maharaj, Atma Nivedanam, and Amrish Maharaj, all 9. So wonderful, all in one, that way. So now we come to this 15th chapter, which says spontaneous devotional service or Ragatmika Bhakti. And this Ragatmika Bhakti is what is perfect spontaneous devotion. So let's see what is the definition of spontaneous practice. So spontaneous devotional practice involves 2 aspects. One is the devotee practicing spontaneous service. That is, such a devotee performs sadhana with aspiration to attain the mood of a specific perfect devotee. Say, for example, somebody is practicing that, I want to serve Mother Yashoda, right? So, to attain the mood of a specific perfect devotee, I want to attain the mood of how Mother Yashoda is so loving to Krishna. Or I want to attain the mood of Nanda Maharaj. How is he so affectionate towards Krishna? That way. And the devotee perfect in spontaneous service. Such devotees are eternal residents of Vrindavan who spontaneously love Krishna in a specific relationship. One is a practicing devotee who is aspiring to attain the mood of that specific perfect devotee. So there are 2 people. One is already perfect and one is practicing to be perfect like a perfect devotee in the spiritual world, right? Or somebody is trying to become or trying to practice in the mood of Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, or a Manjari or a Gopi, that. Then there is this Sanskrit term called Ragatmika Bhakti. Ragatmika is the perfect devotional attachment found in the residents of Vrindavan. Ragatmika. So, those who are Ragatmika Bhaktas, they are already in the spiritual world and they are already having the bhav of pleasing Krishna 24/7. Now, what is Raganuga? I'll be sharing all these slides, so don't worry. Raganuga sadhana bhakti is the process or is the practice of a devotee who aspires to develop the mood of these ragatmika bhaktas. So rag anuga, anuga yani walking in the footsteps, है ना? Raga. So those who have राग आत्मिका, आत्मिक मतलब आत्मा से उनके पास मीन्स from the internal core of their heart they have raga or spontaneous devotion for the Lord, they are ragatmika bhaktas. अभी राग अनुग मतलब क्या कि अनुग means to follow. So those who are following in the footsteps, all these ragatmika bhaktas are called raga anuga. Raga anuga sadhana bhakti. Now still it is called sadhana bhakti. Whereas in ragatmika bhakti, there is no sadhana. It is very spontaneous. They don't have to do, they don't have to, practice this sadhana bhakti. There is very natural that their only aim of life is to please Krishna and they're living for Krishna's pleasure. But we over here, we are practicing daily we are practicing. See, for example, okay, somebody who is practicing harmonium, he practices for, almost 10 years, 12 years. Now he is so expert that he is playing the harmonium and he is not looking at the keys. He is playing. So those are those expert harmonium players. Now they have become so expert in playing the harmonium that they don't require to see the keys at all. So these are those ragatmika bhaktas that they don't have to be told, now wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning in Mangala Arti, now sing Mangala Arti, now chant, now, do everything for Krishna's pleasure. They don't have to be told. And that is why they are called ragatmika bhaktas, okay, or they are in ragatmika bhakti. But for raganuga bhaktas or sadhana bhaktas, we still need an alarm to wake up at 7 o'clock. We still need these lectures all the time, which are actually telling us that you belong to Krishna, your relationship with Krishna. Abhi tumhe ye karna hai, abhi tumhe wo karna hai. And there is always, nowadays, WhatsApp, every time, there is a message. This time Seva starts and this time ends. Please, everybody assemble. People have to be given reminders all the time. But रागात्मिक भक्ति को कोई रिमाइंडर देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Those who are doing sadhana bhakti, they still are under the clutches of three modes of material nature. They've still not transcended the three modes of material nature. And that's why the reminders have to be given. Okay, so this is raganuga sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means a daily practice. डेली आप जो कर रहे हो वो आपकी साधना है और यही साधना भक्ति परिवर्तित होती है भाव भक्ति में, है ना. So perfect spontaneous devotion, two types of ragatmika bhakti again. Each ragatmika has a particular spontaneous mood of obsession with pleasing Krishna, either in servitude, friendship, parenthood, or consorthood. That is madhurya bhav. दास्य भाव, साख्य भाव, वात्सल्य भाव और माधुर्य भाव. NOD groups these four moods in two separate categories. So संबंध रूपा means what? दास्य भाव में, साख्य भाव में और वात्सल्य भाव में. And a kama rupa means what? In consorthood. This is conjugal love. This is madhurya bhav mein, right? So that way, these all four are categorized. Shastric evidence of validity of these divisions. So, in the 7th canto, where Narad Muni is telling actually Yudhishthir Maharaj, my dear king Yudhishthir, Krishna is telling Yudhishthir, my dear king Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by fear, Shishupal and, this is Narad Muni telling, Yudhishthir. Shishupal and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familiar relationship with Krishna, and you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we the general devotees by our devotional service obtain the mercy of Krishna. The verse mentions many types of spontaneous emotional attachment to Krishna: lust, fear, envy, familial. We know now that there are 12 types of rasas. These 5 are the prominent, that is Vatsalya ras, Dasya ras, Sakhya ras, Madhurya Ras, but there are others also, 7 also. Only 2 of these are both spontaneous and devotional. For example, fear of Krishna may be spontaneous, but it is not devotional. Therefore, this verse mentions 2 types of spontaneous loving attachment, confirming Srila Rupa Goswami's categorization of perfect devotees into 2 categories, relationship and sensual attraction. Relationship means only dasya bhav, sakhya bhav, and vatsalya bhav. And sensual attraction means only kama rupa, that is madhurya bhav. Absorb your mind in Krishna with emotion. Emotion is more effective than intellectual in fixing the mind on an object. Therefore, when emotion impels remembrance of Krishna, that type of sadhana is very effective in reviving ecstatic love of Godhead. Like, so example, there is a mother whose child has gone to USA now or gone to boarding school. Now, when she sees the child's shoes, she immediately, her emotions, impel her to remember her child. Oh, or his clothes, or his, books, or his photograph, like that way. Even unfavorable emotions can strongly enwrap the mind upon Lord Krishna and thus purify one. Kamsa, Shishupal, for example, were obsessed with Lord Krishna out of fear and envy. See, Kamsa was obsessed with fear and Shishupal was envious. As a result, they became purified and liberated. It is even said that they achieved the same destination as the gopis. Oh, the spiritual world mein gaye hue hai, right? But we have to decide that do we want to remember Krishna in a favorable manner or unfavorable manner? How could the Lord give the same reward to both his devotees and his enemy? To clear this doubt, Srila Rupa Goswami cites the analogy of the sun, Bhagwan, and the sunshine, Brahman. The demons and the devotees both achieve Lord Krishna, but demons achieve only Brahman aspect of the Lord, whereas the gopis achieve the highest Bhagwan realization of Lord Krishna. That way. Srila Goswami quotes 2 references to prove that the demons achieved only impersonal liberation in the Brahman. Brahmanda Purana says those who achieve liberation from material contamination and those who are demons are killed by the Supreme Lord become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in the spiritual sky of the Brahmajyoti. They are only till the borderline of the spiritual world. The Vedas personified address the Lord. My dear Lord, yogis meditate upon your localized feature, the Paramatma, and thus they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Persons who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. The gopis who are embraced by your serpentine arms and who have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge of the different parts of Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection by the same perfection. So, the demigods also want, or the Vedas personified also, they are wanting to achieve the same destination as the gopis. So Kama Rupa, what is the definition of Kama Rupa? So far we are seeing in relationship, but now we're going to see Kama Rupa, that is the Madhurya Bhav. In NOD, sensual attraction means the eternally perfected devotee serving Lord in the conjugal mode. The term Kama Rupa means, Kam means lust and Rupa means form. Thus Kama Rupa is devotional service that externally resembles lust. Because spontaneous conjugal love externally resembles a lust, a conditioned soul on the external platform can easily mistake it as something mundane. Therefore, conditioned souls are cautioned against premature absorption in the topic of Kama Rupa, in the Madhurya Ras, all or the confidential pastimes, Rasa Leela, and all those pastimes. Definition of lust. Lust is an intense thirst to satisfy the senses. There are 2 types of calm, material and spiritual. Material calm is an intense thirst to satisfy his own senses. Spiritual calm is to intensify thirst to satisfy Lord Krishna's spiritual senses. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevaya. The analogy of iron and gold is given. Iron and gold are both metallic, yet one is highly valued and the other is quite commonplace. In the same way, both material and spiritual lust are similar, as they both involve an intense thirst to satisfy the senses. But whose senses? इसमें एक क्वेश्चन आता है कि किसकी senses satisfy हो रही है. But material lust is commonplace, but spiritual lust is highly valued, being the selfless desire to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord. That way. Apparent selfishness, Lord Krishna becomes happy when he sees his devotees happy. Therefore, the residents of Vrindavan sometimes seem to endeavor their own endeavor for their own happiness. Their true motive, however, is only to please Lord Krishna. Somebody will think, I will make this, and I'll make makhan for Krishna, and I wish he comes and, robs this makhan from my house, a gopi will tell. Then somebody might think, Arey yaar, usko to, she wants happiness, that is why she wants Krishna to come and, you know, steal the butter from her house. But actually, when she is churning that butter, she is churning for Krishna. The original motive is to please Krishna. Then the second motive is that I wish he comes in my house and he steals butter, which is first going to make him happy, and then if he is satisfied, then the gopi is satisfied. So, pehle satisfaction is for Krishna first. And then automatically, if Krishna gets satisfied, she is going to get satisfied. Right? This is just an example I'm giving. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī uses the word lust figuratively. He tries to communicate that the intensity of the gopi's service attitude by comparing it to the most intense desire of conditioned soul can understand lust. Evidence that the gopis' lust is free from lust. Okay. Uddhava and Lord Chaitanya are two stalwart personalities completely free from all attraction to mundane lust. The fact that they glorify the gopis' love of Krishna shown that such love must be fully transcendental, divine. Is Kubja same as gopis? No, because almost mundane or almost like gopis. Kam parayah. Prayah. So, see, actually, I'll just explain this, okay? That when Kubja, okay, when Kubja was making that sandalwood paste, right? And she wanted to offer it to Krishna, but she had some desire that if he accepts it, some exchange will take place. But with the gopis, it's not like that. Whether exchange takes place or whether exchange does not take place, still I will do this activity to please Krishna only. That is the difference. So the gopis do not have any personal motive or personal desire in pleasing Krishna. It is one-way traffic. It is not a two-way traffic. Maro bhi rakho gi do jo icha to maro. आश्लिष्यवा पादरम पिनष्टुमा मत दर्शना मर्मता करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लंपटो मत प्राण नातस्व एव नापर. Whether you accept me, whether you reject me, whether whatever you do with me, I still remain your servant, your loyal servant. I will still work for your pleasure. I will still work to please you only. Now, today in today's material world, okay, if somebody is somebody doing some service, he expects some recognition. Somebody should recognize me, that if I've done such book distribution, so somebody should recognize me that I have done some 5,000 books, in one day. Some recognition they will, this. But the gopis don't want such recognition at all. They don't have any other motive other than to please Krishna. Even amongst the gopis also, they don't want any recognition. Ki, if Lalita Sakhi or some Tunga Vidya Gopi or Chitra Sakhi, anybody has done something, it's not like that somebody should announce, oh, Chitra Sakhi did this, or, Tunga Vidya did this. or Su Devi did this. They don't want recognition among themselves also. That way. Okay, so this is what we have come to the end. Now, in the next section, we will see exactly what is Bhava Bhakti, and we'll see Prema Bhakti. And that will help us, to understand more better. Maybe I'll finish this in two more weeks it will take, and we'll complete the NOD book. Anybody has any questions, queries, or doubts? You can ask me. Okay, so if nobody has any doubts. Okay, Sucharita is asking something on the chat. Daivi Varnashram is different or same? Daivi Varnashram binds. Daivi Varnashram is still binding, yes. And Sucharita is asking again that Ishavashidam Sarvam Yatkinjitam. Okay, she's giving a comment. Okay.
Mataji, you forgot the shloka, so I pasted it. You said which shloka.
Ishavadedam Sarvam. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. But when I'm giving a class and I don't see those comments, though of course they are flashing on the screen that there is something in the chat box, but I am not seeing those because it's in the flow. Okay, fine. So let's top of the day. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Gaur Bhakta-vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. We'll meet next Saturday.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dana Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dana Pranam, Prabhuji.